Hi there, so I'm going to proceed and finish up for the moment on this, our TIE Fighter tutorial. Now, as you can see, the polygons at the minute are at 46,105, and I shall explain why and demonstrate why, using a different object just to kind of show you how it's done. Just hide this, and that. Okay, now, what I've been doing to kind of demonstrate some of the tools in 3ds Max 2011 is messing around with optimization. So if I was to import merge scene, and I'm going to merge in chassis detail, which is a same file anyway. I'm going to auto rename this part until I find it. I thought I'd just brought that in. I'll do that again. Hang on. So what I'll do is I'll save this as. It's starting to go mad here. Save as. Call it workbench. Yes, I want to replace it. Now I'm going to load up chassis detail, and I'm going to show you a couple of examples of optimization that we can use. Okay, this is just a quick 10-minute kind of finisher. So here we have our TIE interceptor, and I've got two parts here. I've got this part, which I've made into a high polygon piece, and I've got this part, which is still a low polygon piece. Okay, and this part obviously is too. Now, what I'm going to do is demonstrate to you the principles of basically rounding it and making it look high detail, whether or not you're going to put it in a normal map or whatever, but at the same time keeping it nice and low polygon as a fast system. So if I convert this to editable poly, and I'm going to stick on a tessellate. Now before I stick on the tessellate, I should rationally choose where I'm going to place it. Okay, so click grow, and I'm going to take these end polys here too. Now what tessellate will do is basically subdivide without smoothing at all. So if I just mash this twice, you'll see what difference that makes compared to mashing that twice. Yeah, so tessellate, tessellate. And I do it twice because if I only do it once and then hit that, it's too curved. So tessellate twice. Then turn that off and mesh smooth everything. Like so. And I really need to mesh smooth once. That's going to be more than enough. However, it's made this a very high polygon piece. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stick on ProOptimize, like so. ProOptimize, if I click calculate, is going to allow me to phase thresh. Now at the minute we've got 7,797 verts. So if I was to drop this down to 25% of my current verts, you'll notice there's not a lot of difference in my model. But if I was to mash F4, in actual fact, there's an awful lot of difference. Okay, now 25% for me is quite a safe value. I could have done with adding a bit more definition on that edge, but that's okay. So let's try going down to 20. As you can see, it still works. 15, starting to get a little bit lumpy in places, but it's still okay. So this is how you're going to start being able to fast round your model, while at the same time bringing the polygon count back down again. And we can do the same thing as well over here for this. Now at the minute this thing has a massive polygon count, simply because I stuck two tessellates on and then a mesh smooth. But if I was to go over here to ProOptimize again, there it is there. Lovely tool, ProOptimizer. Mash calculate and just wait for a couple of moments. Sometimes it'll take up to a minute, depending on how complex your object is. Look out the window, relax, dream happy dreams, you know, all the usual kind of things. Nearly there. I mean, I know this doesn't have a massive, rivets or pipes or whatever welded to it, but that's because this is a fast and rapid kind of chance to show you how we're going to use the 3ds Max 2011 modeling interface to make ourselves this. Okay, just some of the tools that we've been using. So again, drop the vertex count down. Now if I drop this one down, you're going to notice I've got some duff polys starting to appear that would need to be cleaned up. But I'd be wanting to clean this up anyway, to be honest, so that's not really an issue. Drop it down as low as 10%, see what happens. As you can see, apart from a couple of minor bends around about there, not a lot. Drop it down to 5%. There we go, and as you can see at 5%, starting to get a bit, a little bit messy. 3%, although it still works, as you can see. It's still working. So if I was to just collapse this down now, as you can see over here, our polygon count has gone through the floor again. Now if there's any duff polys that I need to just sort out, which there is, because optimization sometimes does that, I'll just do some cleanup, like so. And then cap those. And you'll see again, now we've got the curved edges, but we've got the smooth edges. And we can go around and do that to our entire model, because there's only 3 or 4 polygons per piece on this now. So it's given us the essence of our nice higher polygon smoothed version, but at the same time we have this nice and easy to manipulate low polygon variation, which I can then use in MTs 7, maybe 8 if I go as far as to use it in 8, when I'm showing how to do fun things with materials or how to do fun things in particle flow or whatever. And like I say, I mean, compared to having to deal with the sheer thousands and thousands of polygons, this is much more of a snap, really. And it leaves us with a nice, clean finish. Here, if we get these, we're going to do them by panel. There we go. Always do them by panel so you can maintain the bends in them. See? Cinch. So for just a couple of minutes work, in this case 8 minutes 5 seconds so far, we have quite a lot of added curvature and detail going on with our model, yet we're still able to apply materials or levels of detail to this, and I can kind of show you what I mean by this in just a moment. Let me just go over here, and again I'm going to select here, Control, go and select by polygon. There, that's better. Let's grow that just a teeny bit. Going to deselect these. And then just select by element, take these ones in as well. Control I, and again I'm just going to tessellate just a couple of times. And then throw a mesh smooth on. And as you can see, that's added quite a lot of pleasing detail to this. Got a little bit of funkiness going on up here. However, that's my fault more than anything. And now if I go into ProOptimizer again. Come on, you gadding about, Londoner. ProOptimizer. Calculate. I have a Daily Dilbert email. There we are. Now if I reduce this down to about 15% or less, as you can see, I've still got a very strong looking model. Sure, there may need to be some minor tweaks in it, but it's still a very strong looking model. And I can bring it quite low before it starts falling apart and becoming basically a block. So I'm going to take it to around about 10 or 15%. There, that should do it. Okay. We can also merge faces, as you see here. And by doing that, we get a very clean mesh. And merge vertices. And we can increase the threshold on that. Obviously, the higher we set that, so there we are, merge faces. I'll recalculate, and it'll merge coplanar faces. I'm just reading what it says there, to be honest. I'm sure you're not fooled. It's taking slightly longer to do it this time, you see. There's more going on though. There we go, and you can see what this one's done. Obviously it's required quite a little, well, quite a lot more calculation. However, the face merging's working quite well. Like so, and now I can collapse that. And then if I just drag this into place, then flip it over. Okay, you can see one of the ways of changing the look of your model quite simply and easily. I mean, that's been 12 minutes. I think I paused for a grand total of 12 seconds, which wasn't a long time, to be quite honest. Now, before we go away for good, well, not for good, you know, but for a little bit, what I'll do is quickly explain to you, if you're using, there is no longer Bunk Speed Hypershot, there's Keyshot, which is the same software, but it's now with a different company. So if you want to prepare it, it's the same method, and I will go over that in a small sub-tutorial for you if you want to just mess around with this in Keyshot. And there's no reason why you shouldn't, to be quite honest. It's quite good fun. So until that happy, well, I was going to go away, but no, I'll not. I'm going to stay. I'm going to show you how to do it. Why not? Why the heck not? So, if I open my materials editor in 3ds Max 2010 at the moment, you'll notice that, one, it takes quite a long time. So there you see it there. So, you can still use the old-fashioned material editor, and sometimes that's not a bad idea, to be honest. But what I'm going to do, just in case you've never used this one before, and there are some people who get a bit freaked out by it, I'm just going to click and drag a standard, and I only want maybe 3, 4 tops. So I'll stick 3 in for the minute. Okay, now I'm going to stick these off on my other screen, simply because this takes a lot of space. I mean, this has really been designed for, as you can probably tell, people that have twin monitors. So, there we go. Like I say, I only want 3 materials at the minute. That should do it. I'm going to drag it over here, okay? Now when I'm applying textures, I'm just going to click this button here, Assign Material to Selection. You know the drill. So we'll have our base material for everything, so that's going to be our first material. There we are. Okay, so with everything covered, now I'm going to go in here and just select the parts that are basically glass panels. Just use the select tool for this. Trying to avoid using the lock tool there. And here. And if you're wondering where Keyshot is, it's Keyshot, and you want to go to www.keyshot, and that'll get you the demo. I also use Octane Renderer, however, to be honest, I'm still getting used to Octane Render, and so I really don't think it's fair me showing you my fumbling efforts in there, as I probably have as much as or less than skill than you do in using it. Nearly there. Oh look, and I've accidentally selected a load of bits at the back here because I'm an idiot. Ignore back facing. We can also change our selection method. So rather than rectangular selection, we could have spray can selection, which is messy as hell, but some people like it. The problem is the gizmo is quite large, which can be a bit of a nuisance, so you do have to change it. Another problem is sometimes it completely ignores the fact that you have ignore back selection on. Good old marquee deselect, however, is fantastically useful. I don't know if you saw that or not. I will show you again in case you just missed it. This may be one of the most useful things in 3ds Max for a long time. Say you've selected some bits that you don't want to select, hold down Control, marquee select, and it deselects them. Hot diggity. How long have we waited for that? A long time. I'm going to apply material 2 to that. Okay. Now over here, this part and this part gets material 3. As does this one. Very good for visualization. And I do enjoy messing around with the old bunking speed. Now over here. And here. Carbon fibre will probably go quite well in there. Oops, same again in here. And yes, it isn't especially exciting. However, yes, we can flip these buggers over and copy it rather than doing it twice. So not all is lost. Try and be slightly more patient than me. Obviously, I'm working to a deadline in that I'm making it for you, my beloved end users. You are making it for you, also my beloved end user. However, you probably aren't going to get peeved when you finished it if you take too long. Well, you might, who knows, but ignore back facing. Because it's by object now, it turns itself off automatically. People actually requested that. There we are. Nearly done. Can't abide it when people model slowly, especially if they're trying to show people how to do things. Drives me insane. Okay, over here. Again, I've got ignore back facing on, so I don't need to worry about things being incorrectly selected on the other side. So come on. Grow some, have some fun. Not that I sound like I'm having especially fun, but then again I am repeatedly clicking these damned things for your entertainment. Well, and education, obviously. Unless you really do feel you're entertained by watching me click things, in which case I may have missed my vocation. Check around this side. Just want to make sure that ignore back facing is working the way it should, because it has this horrible habit of not. As anyone who's been using back facing, the ignoring of, since whenever it came out, which was probably around about max 5. Okay, so we've selected all these. We're going to apply material number 3 to them. Okay, and then down here, select these, because you don't need a whole horde of materials. Just going to apply those. Okay, that's all there was to it. Turn that off. I've closed my material window now. Don't need this. Flip this one over. Done. Mashed. And as is usual, if you're exporting it for use in a secondary package, 3ds Max is one of the only software packages that has Z as its upnode. So export. We're going to export it into Filmbox format. So I'm going to stick it over here on my desktop. And I'm going to call it try-int1. Click Save. And just make sure Y is up. Wait patiently. Yes, yes, that's fine. Don't give a damn. Click OK. And then I'm done. So if you've never used Keyshot, I'll do a brief overview of it in the next part. And until then, bye-bye for now.